Hey everyone! You're watching the MELON channel, and ever since the release of the lava maps, I've had a very interesting thought. Right now, seeds aren't yet functional on the lava map or the volcano map, but if you really think about it, the developer almost always expands the capabilities of the maps gradually over time. That means, sooner or later, seeds could very well make an appearance here, too. And that's where things get truly interesting. Exactly what kind of seeds might be added to the game specifically for the lava environments? When you look at the lava map or the volcano, you get the distinct impression that these maps hold immense potential for modification. The lava itself looks alive, it moves, it glows, and it is constantly shifting. And that is precisely why the first idea that springs to mind seems quite logical. The developer could introduce a seed that completely alters the state of the lava. The first such seed, one that seems like a genuine possibility, is, in my opinion, a frozen lava seed. After all, if you stop to think about it, that represents one of the most logical changes imaginable. Picture this: a moment when all the lava on the map suddenly ceases to flow and solidifies. The volcano would no longer look scorching hot, and the lava map would transform into a cold, hard surface. The more you visualize such a scenario, the stronger the feeling becomes that a seed like this could completely revolutionize the familiar look and feel of the map. What makes this particularly intriguing is that, with frozen lava, the map itself would take on a completely different vibe. Areas that previously appeared perilous would suddenly become safer. The landscape would look far more tranquil, and the volcano itself would seem to have lost its fiery intensity. Changes of this magnitude always stand out significantly, which is why a seed like this strikes me as one of the most likely candidates for a future update. However, if we take our thinking a step further, it becomes clear that the developer might not necessarily limit themselves to simply cooling down the lava. Sometimes, updates introduce more atmospheric tweaks that alter a map's visual aesthetic. And that brings us to another idea: a seed that turns the lava completely black. Just imagine it. The familiar, vibrant lava suddenly turning dark, almost pitch black. The entire map would instantly take on a far more somber and ominous appearance. The volcano no longer seems like just a hot place. Instead, a sense of mystery emerges, as if something unknown lies hidden deep within it. And the more you visualize this scenario, the stronger the feeling becomes that such a seed could infuse the game with an entirely new atmosphere. At times, it even feels as though the black lava could be made to look denser or heavier. Visually, this would be quite striking, as the familiar glow would vanish, rendering the map darker and more enigmatic. Such changes invariably capture players' attention, as they evoke the sense of a hidden mode or a unique map state. But if there are seeds capable of making the lava cold or dark, it stands to reason that the developers could also introduce the most intense variant of all: a seed that renders the lava even more active than it currently is. And this brings us to a third concept, one that seems the most perilous of the bunch. It involves a seed that makes the lava significantly brighter and more volatile. The resulting effect would create the illusion that the internal temperature of the map has spiked dramatically. The lava would begin to glow with far greater intensity, and eruptions would occur with increased frequency. Imagine the map taking on an increasingly unstable appearance. The glow intensifies, the lava flows accelerate, and a palpable sense emerges that the entire map is teetering on the brink of overheating. It is precisely these kinds of effects that generate such intense tension, creating the sensation that, at any moment, something massive is about to happen. The more one contemplates these possibilities, the stronger the conviction grows that such seeds could indeed become a reality in future updates. For each of them alters the map in its own distinct way. One renders it cold, another dark, while a third conversely pushes it to the absolute extremes of heat and activity. And if we imagine that such seeds are eventually implemented, the lava and volcano maps could take on a completely different look with every playthrough. This would make them far more engaging, as each new instance of the map could offer a unique visual experience. These, then, are the seed concepts that in my view could potentially make an appearance in future updates. Let me know in the comments which of these seeds you'd most like to see: frozen lava, black lava, or superheated lava.